Sorry about that. We're live now. All right. Tonight, going to answer a few questions and topics. We're going to talk about rod setups for different techniques. Okay. I get asked a lot because I use the whopper plopper a lot. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about spoon jacking with the worldwide spoon and what rod, reel, and line setup for that. Okay. Starting with the whopper plopper. I throw a whopper plopper on extremely big, heavy duty rod. Okay, it's a Cashin 92678, the JW 92678. It's 7.5 foot long. All right, I use 50 or 65 pound Maxima braid. That's part of my game plan on a Johnny Morris Platinum high speed 8:3 to 1 gear ratio reel. The the rod, I want a super strong rod and braid. I want a rod that doesn't require me to set the hook. The braid doesn't stretch. All right. The 7 foot 8 inch rod allows me to bomb the whopper plopper and a buzz bait and Alabama rig a long ways. And that's important, especially in clear water. All right. So the Mod Fast tip to that thing is also great because when a fish actually strikes, you don't, with braided line, it's instant. The minute you twitch your rod tip, the end of your line is affected. All right, it is pulled. So you don't need to jerk. The rod is set up perfectly. Once that bass hits that whopper plopper or buzz bait, if you know he's got it, all you do is pull. You don't jerk real hard, all right? It does all the work for you. That's the whole reason we have so many different rods and so many different lines and so many different reels, all right? They all serve a purpose. Some serve more of a roundabout all-purpose rods. This rod, the Cashin JW 92678 is perfect for whopper plopper, buzz bait fishing, and Alabama rigging and punching. Okay. The other rod I get asked about my setup all the time is my spoon jacking setup. All right. What do I use to jack a big spoon with? A worldwide spoon. In boat dock slips, I like to use the Cashin, and they help me. They help me with a design. I told them what I'm looking for and play around with a bunch of different rods. All right. And I said, this is what I want. And Magic appeared, and Dr. Matthew Cashian, he figured it all out for me. Long story short, we come up with the JW 90676. That's a 7.5 foot Cashian made spoon jacking rod. All right. You'll like it. It's perfect. If you like to flip, it's a good flipping stick. All right. This rod serves many purposes. If you don't want a 7.5 or 7 foot 8 inch long big rod like my plopping rod, you can plop with this one if you want with the 130. Okay. This rod is perfect in the way I like to use it in boat docks and flipping boat docks. It's super strong and super fast reacting. That's what I want. I use 20 pound to 25 pound Maxima fluorocarbon line, and I put it on a Bass Pro Qualifier 7.3 to 1 or 7.5 to 1 Pro Qualifier reel. I put that together. That's the perfect spoon jacking combination. You want a fast reel. You want 20 to 25 pound fluorocarbon line. I like Maxima, and that big rod. All right. That's my setup for those two things. All right. Michelle's giving me my next topic or my next question. All right. Come on, Michelle. Where are you? I thought she was watching. So, anybody out there got any questions or anything? Let me know. Okay, here we go. Tournament prep, catching bass in the early spring. All right. Some of the early spring baits that you need to have ready to go. Always got to have a square bill crankbait. Always have you a jerk bait ready. All right. Alabama rig, big spinner bait, and a swim bait of some sort. When I say swim bait, I'm talking, or grub, like a Kitech, 3.5 Kitech or so. All right. Those are all the baits I like in the springtime. Square bill crankbait and a G5. Lucky Strike makes the old wigglewort. All right. Those are good springtime baits. The RC sticks, great jerk bait, very inexpensive compared to some other brands, and so on and so forth. All right. Frog fishing. Frog fishing. Yeah, frog fishing's fun. Now's the time to start frog fishing, all right? Bass are coming up right here, starting to bed on Table Rock. The water, they're pulling the water pretty hard right now, but they're getting locked on beds pretty hard too. Um, Frog fishing, a lot of fun. I use braided line, a shorter, heavy duty, mag fast, a mag heavy. Actually, Cashin makes a 7-foot mag heavy rod that I use. I don't want a super long rod with that because the handle takes up a lot of room, and I want to be able to walk that frog. I use an open water or down banks that don't have a lot of cover on it, 50-pound braid. And when I'm around a lot of cover and grass and stuff like that, and lay downs or gnarly stuff, I'll go to 65-pound maximum braid. That's my favorite on frog setups. Okay. What makes perfect conditions for spoonjack and boat docks? Good question. The perfect scenario is post spawn, okay? When they're done spawning, they're done guarding their old beds and garden fry. The first place in a lot of lakes bass will go to recover is going to be at offshore brush piles or standing timber, something off the bank a little ways. I'm here at Table Rock. We got all that. They'll go recoup underneath boat docks. Okay, so the perfect conditions is bright, sunny, slick, calm day, and the sun just blazing out, and it's post spawn. Those are the perfect conditions, and you look for the deepest docks you can possibly get to. That's the ones you want. All right. All right. Oh, Michelle, as a reminder, Michelle said, hey, go check out Sublime, SublimeWareUSA.com. They're making masks right now. I'm not wearing mine because I'm safe out here by myself. Don't think I'm going to get anything. I might have tested positive for everything else, but not that. And they're donating for everyone that's purchased. They're donating a mask. They made these cool masks to help people out and stuff. So check them out. Another company that's got good buffs, Elite Angler. I got an Elite Angler. They made a cool buff. All right, I've been wearing that around. Fluoro, thoughts on snagging bedfish. You don't snag bedfish. You might accidentally snag bedfish, and if you do, you reel them in, you let them loose, and they'll swim right back to that bed if they're really locked on hard. So, yesterday I was bed fishing and I snagged 2 by mistake. All right, I thought they ate it. One I hooked right out here on the side of the head. The other one, my view was blocked, and I popped my crawl up, and it looked like he turned around and ate it. Well, he didn't. I hooked him right on basically on the back of the head. That don't kill the fish, okay? So if you snag one inadvertently on the bed, just unhook him, reel him in, unhook him, turn him loose. He'll go right back to the bed. All right. It's going to happen. Guarantee you. All right. Fluoro versus braid. Guys, remember, there's 3 types of lines: monofilament, fluorocarbon, and braid. Monofilament stretches a lot. Fluorocarbon, not so much at all. Braid, none at all. Okay? I like monofilament for a few things. What is that? Oh, throwing a devil's horse. I'll use a braid to monofilament when I'm using a prop bait like a devil's horse, because that monofilament keeps the props off of the braided line. All right. Fluorocarbon. I love to use fluorocarbon for almost every other application when I'm not using braid. I use monofilament, Maxima Ultra Green every once in a while. I like to crank with it still, and I like to jerkbait with it a lot. All right, especially in the cold water. I want that stretch and not load. I don't know how to explain that very well. So, But bass fishing in the spring, okay. Bass fishing in the spring's a lot of fun. You got the fish are starting to get a little more active and get closer to the bank. That's what I like. I don't like them when they're out deep and way off and really lethargic and they're cold natured fish anyway. Um, Springtime they start getting shallower. Start to look for them starting at the main lake point and work your way into bigger pockets, the big pockets. Okay, and somewhere from the main lake point back into that pocket, you're going to find out where they're more likely to be hanging or more of a bite somewhere. Start pattern fishing that. So I already went over the favorite baits for spring fishing in Missouri. Those are all the ones I mentioned just before too. So um, anyway, got some more questions coming up. I need to get more organized. Whopper plopper hacks. I don't know what hacks means, to be honest with you. Um, you mean knockoffs? There's a few knockoffs. Hunt House. Um, the Berkeley makes a Chapo. Um, I'm not sponsored by them. I don't throw them baits. Okay, I threw the Whopper plopper, made it famous. Tips. Throw it a lot. There's your tip. All right. So I don't know why I'm not seeing these on my screen. I don't know why I don't see people saying things on my screen. So I don't get it. I don't know. I want to figure this out sooner or later. All right. Whopper plopper tips. Throw it on braid, folks. Use a big rod. Use a fast reel. The same thing I just spent the first 3 minutes talking about. Rewind this and we'll go back, rewind, and there's your tips for whopper plopper fishing. Okay. Um, I like whopper plopper fishing more in late summer and fall up until about Thanksgiving around here. You can catch big fish on it. Okay. People are asking how to become a real estate mogul. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, shortly after I got out of the Army, I had a lawn maintenance business while I was in the Army. Got out of the Army. I did a lot of yards for Remax up around Fort Leonard Wood, and they liked the way I handled my business when I was mowing yards and doing that business there. I was offered a position. Go get your real estate license. You get out of the Army. You got a place to work here. Blah blah blah. Um, I don't have comments on. Michelle tells me, okay, I need to fix that. Someday I'll learn this, Michelle. I apologize. But I was offered a position. I said, hey, that'd be a fun thing to do when I'm not mowing yards in the wintertime and whatever. I went and got my license right shortly after I got out of the Army, I don't know, January of 2001, and sent a letter out to all my lawn customers. I had about around 180 lawn customers at the time. Let them know that I was a licensed real estate agent in the state of Missouri. Hey, if you like my service in the lawn maintenance business, you'll like my service in the real estate business. So, sent that letter out. Before you knew it, the first week I was a real estate agent, I got 6 listings. Roughly 40 days after that, I closed on my first transaction. I double-ended. I sold my listings, what that means. So I made 6% of a $140,000 house sale back then. When it's all said and done, my cut was like $5,800. And I looked at my check, and I looked at my broker, and I looked at my check, and I said, this is all mine? And she said, yeah, it's all yours. I have a feeling I'm going to be writing you a lot of these. And I said, hell yeah, you are. And then I just took off from there. It was, it's explaining, unlike I did tonight about bass fishing, in the real estate business, you've got to explain the value of being a homeowner. That's what it boils down to. Why would I want to pay $1,000 a month in rent for, let's say, this 3-bedroom, 2-bath home when I can own it for about $800 a month? That's a no-brainer, all right? Now, in the Army, around the Army and installations, you have 2 types of installations. You got TRADOC, which is Training, Doctrine, and Command, which I had at Fort Leonard Wood. And you got ForceCom, which is what is Forcecom? I forget. Anyway, that's the units that deploy a lot. All right, if something happens, like the 101st, the 82nd, 10th Mountain Division, Fort Campbell, Fort Drum, places like that. Probably not the best place in the world to own a bunch of rentals. All right, so I probably wouldn't have bought a house in any of those locations, but I would a training post like Fort Leonard Wood because they don't get deployed. A lot of times when service members get deployed, their spouses, especially if they're young, they want to go home, like where they come from. So around Fort Leonard Wood, we're always needing rental properties, and that is that is how I always pitch to people. Say, you can own a house here at Fort Leonard Wood. Well, I'm not going to retire here. I don't care if you live here 10 minutes. I need that house in my rental property management office, and we can rent it out tomorrow. Your payment's going to be about $800. Just did the math for them. Blah, blah, blah. This house will rent for $1,000. So go that route right there. And when it's all said and done, hell, even if you rented your house and after your property management fees and your house payment and everything was said and done, even if you were out of pocket $100 a month to own a house, why wouldn't you? Because it's a great investment. 10 years from now, you paid that house down, all right? Even if it's just the minimum payment, you paid that house down. The value of the houses usually go up. That's how real estate works. That's when you dump it, all right? I've helped 2 service members on paper, become millionaires owning real estate. 2, all right? I don't know where they're at now. But anyway, every once in a while I'll get a thank you from them. Hey, I bought another house at Fort Hood. Hey, I own 3 houses at Fort Campbell. Stuff like that. So you got to impress on people. To be a real estate mogul and sell a lot of real estate, you've got to tell the honest truth about why they should be owning a house, all right, instead of renting. And then when they leave, keep that house, put it in a property management somewhere, let a tenant who doesn't want to buy a house or doesn't have the credit score to buy a house, let them rent from you, all right? Service members are the best tenants you could ever ask for on the planet Earth. I'm speaking from experience, all right? Very rarely, very, very rarely have we ever had to evict a service member from their home. Very rarely. And we manage over 500 doors at my office. So that in itself, if you get a chance to, folks, you want to dabble around, flip houses, okay, own a few rentals, maybe something that you can, if you're a handyman, unlike me, I'm not handy at all right? If you're a handyman and you can do a lot of repairs, then go for it. So, blah, blah, blah. Easter plans. I don't have any Easter plans, okay? Because there's no church services really going on around here. I think I'll just probably go fishing if it's not raining or it's not too cold. So, oh yeah. Okay, dock sticks. Michelle brought up a good point. Dock sticks. I wish I had them out here right now. Hey, boating season's coming up too. I don't care if you got a big boat, bass boat, whatever you got. You got to have a way to tie up to a boat dock or the courtesy dock at the ramp or another boat or whatever. Dock sticks keeps your boat away from the object you're tying up to and your boat. All right, and it's pretty cool. Go to jewelbaitcompany.com or docksticks. There's a docksticks.com. Michelle caught me by surprise here. Sorry. But check those out. You guys will like those dock sticks. They're pretty cool. All right. Been on here for 20 minutes. That's enough. I'm going to figure out something better to do next time, more organized than this. So, okay, just go to jewelbait.com. That's where the dock sticks are, okay? You can tell them I sent you. Okay, I'm wrapping it up, Michelle. Gotcha. All right. Guys, I hope everybody's staying safe. Enjoy this time. Get caught up. Think ahead. Everybody needs to think ahead. What can I do because I'm home now that needs to be done so that when I do go back to work, I go with a clean mind and a good attitude, and I'm not worried about whether I got stuff done at home. Don't be a lazy bum. Get stuff done around the house, and don't judge me because I got to mow my yard tomorrow. So, baby Jesus is coming home. Happy Easter, everybody.